shadows gather where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice once in fire, a mic on is gone. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the fair. No hurdles, no illusions, no hollow in your prayers. Here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Misled, thinking truth from the wreckage, lazy dog from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot men declare, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord rises with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead. On his growl rings through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, trick keeps the battle is right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I became the chaos of found to
Welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party. Who we got? Shout out to Bubba. Welcome to the party. Stream Elements still trying to do their thing. What is good? I definitely need to stop doing these 12-hour streams. Well, I mean, I guess I did like 4 different 2 to 4 hour streams yesterday. But my voice is cooked and we're going to do our best. But welcome. Don't know if you guys saw, but the Sean Hannity was on PBD, and I never really watched Fox News, except for when, like in 2015, when I was really first getting into politics. And I thought that, all of the news was either Fox News, CNN, or MSNBC. And I was like, I'll watch them all and I'll get all the information. Yeah.
Stupid.
So, again, I don't know too much about him. Obviously, I'm more right-leaning, but this is going to be a bit of an introduction of sorts for me to Hannity. Shout out to Nick Johnson. Welcome to the party. Let's dive right in. As always, guys, if you can enter the video, please do let me know.
First topic, and that is the whole premise of Operation, first Midnight Hammer, that the Iranians are evil, that they chant death to America. They chant death to Israel. They have been the number one state sponsor of terror. They are, to me, an existential threat. I don't even have the patience to deal with stupid people that don't understand evil in our time. And I think I see President Trump as learning 3 historical lessons, and I'd love for all 3 of you to weigh in on this. 1, he learned from Reagan, peace through strength. 2, he learned the last 100 years of human history, which proved that there was evil, and that's Mao in China, Stalin in Russia, that's Hitler in Germany, that's Mussolini in fascism, that's Tojo Japan, that would include Pol Pot in the killing fields, right? And over 100 million souls, Thomas, dead. They're gone. And the 3rd lesson I think he learned is no quagmires. We can't send our national treasure on the ground for extended periods of time, you know, in these conflicts. And with military, with the next generation of weaponry, it's now possible. But the premise here is, Thomas, I'll ask you this. This regime is evil. I'm never going to convince those that don't believe that, but I believe they are. And President Trump was smart enough to take this threat away from our children and grandchildren. Thoughts?
So real quick, while we're here, Nightbot is a perfect moderator. So just do what Nightbot does. Welcome new people when they come in. You guys beg the rest of the chat for money, so I don't have to. Other than that, do what Nightbot does.
Yeah, it was somewhere between, I didn't vote for new wars. Okay, well, you don't have to vote for new wars. Nobody voted for, disease either, right?
Is this about to be a cope sesh? Is it about to be a cope sesh? Again, as I like to tell you guys, when I pick something, I'll skip through it to make sure, we got some stuff to talk about. But I want to have, I want to have as fresh of a reaction as possible. But so far, this is looking like they're going to all over Trump.
And things happen in life. This was necessary. I think everybody has been called to account. All the people that want to deny all the things you just said, which are all very, very correct. When they launch a rocket that is now capable of going 4,000 miles, you just ask yourself, okay, what are they going to put on top of that rocket? And who exactly are they going to put it on? And once they have that, now you're going to have to constantly manage them. This is what happened when nobody took North Korea seriously. And Japan sitting there, they launched another rocket. It's a little bit closer now. And they were dropping them in the ocean without warheads, showing that, hey, we're getting better and better and longer and more precise. And all of a sudden, oh, damn, they've enriched uranium too. So now not only do they have,
oh, come on. Don't fucking do this shit to me. So yeah, no, don't. I'll let you guys know if I want somebody banned or timed out or anything. You're not gonna worry about that stuff. But all right, let's close this and hope. Let's hope that it is just them. No sound from me? Oh, come on. Can you hear me? Yes? No? Hear me. Yes, no, yes, no. Sound was okay on my end. Okay. All right, so let's see how we're back. All right, so let's see if this is working now.
Showing that, hey, we're getting better and better and longer and more precise. And all of a sudden, oh, damn, they've enriched uranium too. So now not only do they have, nuclear capability in North Korea, now they...
That's right, guys. If you're on the vertical stream, and see, this is a good mod thing. If you are on the vertical stream and you're enjoying it, have a great time. But if you prefer the landscape, then the link will always be in the description, so you can come on over. I think it looks better on landscape, and we have better polls over there. But whatever floats your boat.
They've built a rocket, and they built and built and built and built with the technology to get there. So you sit there and say, okay, North Korea can be managed. He could be managed. Even a Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-sun, those guys were at least manageable. You know what I mean, Sean? You get to this regime, it's not manageable. North Korea doesn't say, hey, death to America, and I'm willing to die for it, and we're all going to die for it, and we're going to set up suicide squads and all that. No. North Carolina is insane, but they're not insane on like, an embroiled faith that the end result is death, 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 death.
No, that's all Islam comes down to, is that we must kill you all because God said so. That's about it. I can't see this. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and there's no getting around that. And they know that. That's why they have the notion of taqiyya, where you can just lie and lie to outsiders to make your faith seem better, because the end goal is to either turn everyone into a Muslim or kill the ones who are not. No exaggeration.
It's like you can't negotiate with it. And you look at it, so you can't let it be capable. And people say, no new wars. You shouldn't have done this. I don't want new wars. I don't want $200 billion that needs to go for other things to go for this. I'm as American as anybody else. I don't want that. I said, but when you look at what's going on there, now you see the rocket and say, okay, all right, all you people demonstrating in London, do you see that if you draw a line from Diego Garcia, that same line would reach London?
Shout out to Jason. Welcome to the party. Takia and religion, that's my wheelhouse. Like, I don't necessarily, I care more about pushing the politics of what I believe more so than my specific religious beliefs. But that is where I came from, is somebody who, was an anti-theist. I used to think, and I have a debate coming up where I'm going to be on the other side of this now. I used to think that religion was the worst thing that man had ever created. And I've just learned this, a lot of talking to you guys, those of you that are Christians, and well, some of those of you who are not, and maybe a little bit shittier. But I've learned that there is a structure to religion that, as of right now, we don't have anything else. I would like, is my life's work, to create some type of structure like that, so that we are under a shared story that has to do with something that is true, or at least if it's a myth, then it's an American myth, so that everybody can be on the same page. But yeah, Takia with 2 Qs. They can align to you to make themselves look better. That's the name of the game. Welcome.
Do you see that if you draw a line from Diego Garcia, that same line would reach
Welcome, sir.
London. How do you sleep?
Yeah.
And when they tell you now they want to do this and now they want to do that, wait, what do you do? When they tell you they don't like that you're persecuting rape gangs in the UK, or we're going to bomb you, what do you say then? What do you say when the bully is fully armed with the ability to deliver the bomb and the bomb? And I think Trump has learned all this. I take a lot of heat. They say, well, there's no new wars and you're just a simp for him. No, I'm not. My president is not perfect. But I think that this one we got right. Do we wish that it was easy and as quick as Maduro? Sure we do.
Fair, but I also think that knowing that, and the fact that Trump had always talked about Iran, that he shouldn't have pushed the no new wars thing so much, and because that now becomes like a betrayal. Whereas if you were just the guy who was really good with making deals, and we just didn't have to go to war, and then here we did, that would be a little bit easier for me to swallow. Jason said I was the same exact way. Then had kids. They want to believe Grammy is in heaven, and we're all gonna meet up there with the goldfish and the dog. And I mean, yeah, the question is, do you let them believe that while they're children, and then eventually there's a day when they come to realize that, you lied to them. I'm assuming based on what we're saying that you're a non-believer, and that that's a big deal. But that has nothing to do with the good sides of religion. Even though I don't buy into religion, that doesn't mean I think it's all bad, like I said, as I used to. Shout out to David Gillespie. Welcome. Getting the roll call. Welcome to the party.
This one we got right. Do we wish that it was easy and as quick as Maduro? Sure we do. But it doesn't mean that somebody's got to stand up for this, and somebody's got to pull it back.
Let me follow up, because I think that a lot of people don't get the Trump doctrine. Yes, it's no forever wars, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to use the might and power of the U.S. military.
Yeah, but he was very, very happy to let us all think that while it worked in his favor. And that is precisely the switch from, he is an outsider, to now he is just playing their game. And he's doing it well, and he won, and good for him. But now I know that this trust that I had in the fact that you were not a politician, that's gone, because now you're a politician.
He wiped out ISIS. He took out Soleimani, Baghdadi, dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan, and Midnight Hammer, 14 bunker buster bombs knocked out their ability to enrich uranium.
Hammer? I barely even know her.
So that is not, it's not a forever war, but it is strategically smart for our long-term security.
I agree with that. And like I realized multiple things can exist at the same time. The regime, evil, 1000%. We spoke about this before the podcast started. If somebody had a gun to your head, and the people, Sean, you're going to represent the Iranian people. If somebody has a gun to your head and they're going to kill you, do you care who kills the gunman? Do you care if they're Jewish, Christian, America, tall, short, transgender? I don't care. I want you to help me kill the person that has a gun to my head. The Iranian people need this, okay? That exists. Does America and Israel and all these different people that are involved, they have their own agendas? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So then, because, saying, does this need to happen is different than saying this needs to happen for this reason. And so I think I can get my head around this needs to happen. I can get my head around that. I need to be explained a little bit more clearly. But the reasons that are given, liberating the Iranian people, sorry. No, that's not our job. That's not our job. We've lost American lives now. Not okay. Shout out to HR Death Poet, who said 14 bunker buster bombs is my stripper name. There you go. Welcome. Welcome. All right, let's dive.
One thing, Sean, which people are going to be wary of is, number one, the trust in the government has been at an all-time low. When they see wars, like when I was in during after 9/11, we went to Iraq. When they were lied to about weapons of mass destruction, they lied every day. Weapons of mass destruction. Then we showed up and there was no weapons of mass destruction. That's one of the reasons I left the military. We're like, whoa. You guys lied about they had these weapons of mass destruction. 1 million people are dead. Thousands of American soldiers are dead. What the lie? So I can see.
What is this studio that they're in?
The skepticism of people and the weariness of, wait a minute, we've heard this before, we've seen it before, but on the twist side of it, Sean, I have to go everywhere. I trust President Trump. Me personally, I have clip after clip of 80s, 90s. He loves America. He always talked crap about China. He's always been about America, and I fall victim to this, Sean.
That's fair, but there's a difference between, hey, I'm doing what I think needs to be done because I love America, and doing what I am doing needs to be done to save America or is best for America. I don't really think those are the same things. And Vinny is saying that because Trump loves America, then anything that he does, he's going to assume is in America's best interest. But that implies that Trump is infallible, which he definitely is not.
All we do, like we talked about, who's saying this and who's saying that? Like, we're in those meetings. Like, we're in the situation room. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not in the chessboard looking. They are. I trust him. He loves this country. And at the end of it, Sean, we have to wait. We're how many weeks into it? I think they say that we have a couple weeks left. Let them, just like with the tariffs, let's see what they have to do. I can't jump the gun and be like, oh, it's this or that. Give him some time. I said this a couple of months ago. Let him cook with the tariffs. He did a fantastic job until the Supreme Court freaking cut his legs out from underneath him. Give him time. But we have to understand that there are a lot of trust when it comes to military and government. You have to understand a little bit of the weariness of the American people.
Did everybody under 25 just see him do that and say,
I don't want to overcomplicate this. So to me, it comes down to this one thing. How long do you negotiate?
Loser.
Did you guys see Dave Smith tear this guy to shreds? Did you guys see Dave Smith tear this guy to shreds on Piers Morgan? It was amazing. It was amazing. And whether you love or hate Dave Smith, I mean, don't we all love somebody getting cracked? Yeah, I know you liked it. I know you liked it. Hell yeah. Pure entertainment. Absolute cinema.
With terrorists. We've been negotiating with this terror regime for 47 years, and Trump, love him or dislike him, had the balls to be like, no, we're done with these people. Because if you, at what point does negotiation just become normal? Yeah, we're just negotiating again for the last 5 decades. So, and then what happens when you're negotiating and their behavior doesn't change? So that you need to have some accountability for your bad behavior. So this endless negotiation, oh, we did this, we did the Iran deal, the JCPA, now we're going to do this. But their behavior hasn't changed. They're still funding proxies. They're still basically shouting death to America. And Trump, he's not playing that game. So
okay, but what is the game? Literally, is it just we're going to just keep sending more and more people and like what exactly is the plan? I thought I was under the impression that like we're gonna slice the head of the snake and that we had somebody that was going to be in that position temporarily while they have, elections and stuff. That's what I thought. But I guess I was wrong again.
2 more points. Trump's The Art of the Deal. I reread The Art of the Deal. Some of the biggest.
I need you guys to understand how cope this sounds. I'm not saying that Trump's not the deal guy. That's the frustration that I have, is that he's not being more of the deal guy. Yeah, but remember the art of the deal. That's not an argument for anything.
Lessons you rate was create leverage and negotiate through strength. Trump created leverage, took out 80% of their military capabilities. He's negotiating through strength. He took out how many?
What leverage is that?
Any of their top leaders?
I mean, it's definitely a big hit, but in what way is it leverage? Leverage means you have something in a negotiation that they don't have or that they want. What are you talking about, Adam?
80% of their military capabilities. He's negotiating through strength. He took out how many of their top leaders? So what I think is, you brought up peace through strength. I think, and I'm going to own this, I think we need to rephrase peace through strength. I think we need to start calling it stability through strength, because the world's never going to have world peace.
That's fair. Stability is a much more likely goal than peace, but fair enough. And yeah, treating the art of the deal like his Bible. It's becoming dogmatic. It's becoming religious, and this is what the woke do. This is what the woke do.
And we're running around fighting wars, thinking that we're going to have peace. What we're solving for is stability. So what's stability?
That's a fair
Stability
point.
needs to be enforced, right? And if you don't have consequences to your bad actions, then what happens? So to me, Trump is running around the world doing what? Ending hostile regimes to America, creating stability. Do we have stability with Venezuela now? I think so. Are we potentially looking at stability with Cuba? I think that's next. Are we trying to have stability with Russia and Ukraine? Remains to be seen. Trump is doing his stability through strength mantra in Iran.
So you want to replace Reagan?
No one's going to replace Reagan ever.
Okay, that's a question.
Okay, so I'm getting the feeling that Hannity is like a straight up just, I love the Republican Party no matter what the Republican Party says. Is that pretty accurate? And so the leverage that I see would actually be controlling the energy going out of Iran. And that would be leverage over other countries even more than Iran. Yeah, that's leverage. Just getting a good one in. That's not leverage.
Just sort of updated.
I want to ask you a question though. So Sean,
I have a question.
Go, please go ahead.
Yeah.
What's your point?
You got me, Sean.
Listen, that's what we're doing.
Different
baby.
host.
Thank you very
Same
much.
line.
We'll
Way
see
to
you
go.
Monday.
Perfect timing. But let me ask you a question. And Sean, you guys, I want to ask all of you guys. When Midnight Hammer was the first mission, we just put yourself in the American public's eye. We went in, we stopped their nuclear capabilities. That was it. It was clean, in and out, done. You have to at least see the regular average Joe American that's going to work going, wait. You guys said we knocked that out during the summer. Now what changed? Now they have enriched uranium somewhere else? Because at the end of the day, Sean, this is where I know people are upset. This was sold as we're doing it for the Iranian people. And I'm really putting myself there because I know people.
Well, and that's part of the issue. Part of it is, we need to liberate the Iranian people. Part of it was like, oh no, we can't let them get a nuke, and then throw Israel into the mix. And that's the frustration. It's like, what exactly are we doing? This is supposed to be the most transparent presidency. And I mean, I think it is, but we could do better. Do better.
From Iran.
Hey, shout out to Glow and Dar. Welcome to the party.
And my mom, who's sitting there, Sean, that you met, she's from Iran. All the people that have been massacred in the streets that were fighting, that Trump said, guys, go and fight and do it. And I love them for that. And God rest all their souls. A wrestler they hanged last week for freaking protesting and doing what he was doing. And God bless him for doing it. You have to understand, Adam, the people are like, well, okay, we haven't heard from the people because they have no internet. Now we're saying, they have uranium and all that stuff. You have to understand that the people are like, I thought we took all that out in the summer. Because if it's for the people, I haven't heard, because Sean, are we going to put in a leader that we're going to pick that's going to run them? Do you think their military is going to go, America is putting this guy in? Yeah, we're going to follow him. You understand how difficult I don't think anybody's thinking about that part.
So then I think a lot of people are thinking about that part. And I think that's the frustration that Trump said, we have people that we trust. We have people that we trust. And then you blew them up. And so, like, fine, I get the notion that it's like, all right, well, we're just going to keep blowing up your leaders until somebody goes in and does the right thing. But then who the fuck are we dealing with? How do we know that the person that says we're doing what you want to do doesn't have some plan to, do anything? Like, how you need to bring it home. Bingo. Well said, sir.
So let me take it to the next level. So the president extended out
we want to bring it home, and he wants to take it to the next level.
Negotiations for 10 more days. For me, the best interview that was the most revealing in terms of what imminent threat or defining imminent threat, I had the Mideast envoy, Steve Witkoff. He was in the room. He negotiated with the Iranians. I think we have a clip of it. I want to play it. And this is where he affirmed they had 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, which means that you could very quickly enrich it from 60 to 90%, which is weapons grade. You can do that in anywhere from 7 to 12 days. Now, that would be the equivalent of 11 bombs.
And I totally understand that this is a different thing than like the Cold War, where it's like, oh, okay, well, mutually assured destruction. Like, as we said in the beginning, that is their goal. They would rather be destroyed than have to live on this planet. So we say life is not a waiting room. Life is not a waiting room. This is your time. Shout out to equality and deference because vagina. Yeah, you didn't see I was live for like 15 straight hours yesterday. So my voice is a little bullshitty, but welcome. Send a like and share. Thank you so very, very much. Again, you guys know that stuff is free. It's easy. It helps out so very, very much. And even if you don't think anybody's going to click on the link that you share, just by telling the platform you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Welcome. Said, oh no, not Hannity. He ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but is also 3 fries short of a Happy Meal. Well, that's what I was saying earlier, that because I never watched him heavily on Fox News, I don't really have that much of I haven't spent that much time listening to him. So this is kind of a bit of an introduction, if you will. We got Chad in the building. Welcome. Am I volunteering to go to Iran yet? What do you mean yet? Why would I volunteer to go to Iran? Why would I do that? Welcome. It's a lot of people have been thinking about that for a long time, but how do you transition the power without it looking like the new leader is a U.S. or Israeli puppet? Fantastic question that should have been answered before we bombed them. I'm not even saying let's not bomb them. I'm saying let's make sure we know what we're doing here, and then do it.
You can do that in anywhere from 7 to 12 days. Now, that would be the equivalent of 11 bombs. Thomas mentioned earlier, we now know their ballistic missile capability range is way further than we thought. By the way, you know what that means? Paris, London, targets that nobody thought they would have had. But let me play this, and then I want to ask on the other side of it, as you listen to this, if the president negotiates a deal or if he has to leave, what are the things that must be accomplished before we say mission accomplished?
Okay.
Again, good questions.
All right, this is Steve Witkoff.
Let's see what the answer
was telling us that they had the inalienable right to enrich, to which we responded that from President Trump that we had the inalienable right to stop them from enriching. So, but they opened up by challenging us. Their next statement to us was that they had 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. 60% enriched uranium would take a week, maybe 10 days at the outside, to bring up to 90% weapons grade. So it was a clear threat. They were boasting about having it. And they said that that was going to be something that was going to be very valuable. At the same time that they were attesting to wanting nuclear for civil purposes. There is no reason whatsoever to be enriching past 20% unless you're going for a weapon.
I thought last year they were talking about 35%. They said, you need 35% for nuclear power or whatever, and now it's 20%. This is why. It's just little things like that. I just don't believe you. I just don't. On its face, you don't seem credible. You don't seem credible.
Finally, and this was all in the beginning. The beginning meeting, they said to us, and this was some challenge, you're not going to get from us diplomatically what you could not achieve militarily. Now, yes, we had destroyed their three main enrichment and conversion centers, Natanz, Esfahan, and Fordow. That was clear. They, of course, didn't want to admit it. But think about the notion of beginning a negotiation by saying that we would not be able to
Let's not
get diplomatically what we couldn't achieve militarily. We did achieve militarily, but they were basically saying that we didn't, and they weren't going to give it to us anyway.
All right, Thomas, let me throw that to you with this question framed this way. Now, either they're going to negotiate out, maybe they learned something. The president begged them for peace twice, before Midnight Hammer, before Epic Fury. He's now giving them another lifeline. What are the conditions? What do they have to guarantee? No nukes. That enriched uranium, there's no way we can risk that uranium.
land the
being in
plane,
wrong
brother.
hands.
What are
So
you asking?
We're reading that Marines have arrived and more are going. I don't know how to interpret that. I don't know if that has to do with Carg Island. I don't know if that has to do with enriched uranium. I wouldn't know. But what are the conditions in your head that either a negotiated settlement or a military victory? What would it take?
I think it's going to take a negotiated settlement at the end of a barrel of a gun, because I think that's all they understand. And so I think the military destroying the things that are destroyed and then saying, okay, so now are we going to do this? And if you look at
Then why was the plan to take out the leadership if we never expected anybody to be in that position? This is why nobody trusts anything or anyone.
multi-point plan, really, like the first 6-7 points was all about no nuclear, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give back this stuff, you don't enrich this, you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this. And someone needs to maybe educate me, maybe I missed a beat, on why they would need enriched uranium for industrial purposes. I don't think they run on nuclear power over there. I'm pretty sure they have more than enough fossil fuel and to run all their power plants and desalination and do everything they need to do. But the first section was,
I wonder how that is determined. Like, I know that there's they have these checks and stuff, but like, how do we know, or how did we decide that, number one, that we, over whether it's 35 or 20%, that if you go over that, you're in big trouble, mister. And also, how do we trust wherever we're getting that information?
all about nuclear. The second section was about funding all the H's, the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, funding them. Then the third section went back to stability. So if you really look at it, it was a 15-point plan, but there was really only three asks: nukes, no funding these other folks, and then recognition and create some sort of a inspection and peacekeeping force and whatnot. And
yeah, close. And the only thing they understand, while the U.S. and Israel are the ones always using force. And that is the core frustration. That is the core frustration. Rules for thee, but not for me. And we happen to be on the side of like, okay, we're using aggression, but we don't get that that label. But I mean, this has nothing to do with hating America at all. Quite the opposite. But it is fucking true that the U.S. kills a bunch of fucking people. A bunch of people that we don't need to.
that's it. And what they're saying is you're not going to get through negotiation, which you couldn't get militarily. You're basically telling us, okay, kill me. Okay, run me over, which is horrifying. It's like, really? And the Marines in the area, the USS Tripoli sailed. We called this 2 weeks ago. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Said USS Tripoli. And I said, listen, the only reason the USS Tripoli is going there, if you know anything about military structure and what the purpose of that ship is, 2,500 Marines, F-35s, aircraft carriers stay way over here, and they're protected by submarines and very, very strong partnerships. Well, guess what? If you're going to go in, you need the USS Tripoli or you need the USS Boxer. And the USS Boxer sailed on the
Boxer. I barely even know her.
18th, I believe, out of San Diego with another 1,000 Marines and the 11th Marine Expeditionary Force. And the Tripoli sailed over there with the 35th Marine Expeditionary Force with 2,500 Marines on there. And so whether they take Carg Island or they take, and I don't know, I can't pronounce it. You can help me. The Q? No. The island that is.
And so what changes? What changed last year that after 48 years of discussion and communication and negotiation, that this is it. They've crossed the line.
In the strait, in the hook, as they call it, there's a long lateral island begins with a Q. And they say, if you take that, it eliminates a lot of these small rockets and the pestering attacks that they fire into the strait to stop the ships. If you look at a map there, I don't know what the name is. But anyway, the point is, you need the USS Tripoli or the USS Boxer. There it is. What's that begin with a Q?
Keshem?
Yeah.
Keshem.
That's
Vinny, we're going to need you on this, buddy.
Yeah, zoom back on it. See that there?
Yeah.
So you take that island, and this is what the military is saying, that take Keshem Island, and you're going to have to do that Marines on the ground. I don't want to see Marines on the ground, but
Well, you don't want to see it, but they're going. They're going.
they're on their way.
Yep, as promised, which would not happen, is precisely what is happening. And so I think this is a good time for a little side quest, a video that I was just watching while I was setting up. And I'm very happy with, I think this guy might have been on Timcast. I don't fully remember, but, he's pretty big on TikTok for his political takes, and we're gonna say so. This guy that he's responding to, is talking about fair weather MAGA. Let's see. Come on.
Fair weather MAGA, go fuck yourselves.
All right.
For 4 years, we suffered under Biden, and all we wanted was the return of Trump.
No, what we wanted was the return of America First policy.
Bingo!
Yup.
Trump just was the most likely one to win that was selling those.
We get it, and you motherfuckers are the first to complain.
No, we got him, but we didn't get the policies.
His bingo!
We got him. We didn't get the policies. Trump won, but there's so much that he ran on that has not been delivered or has been completely gone the other way. Yeah, like divided Zion. Welcome to the party. And boots on the ground soon. Oh, I thought that was the one thing we weren't going to do. We got Colonel Quayle. Welcome to the party. Very good to see ya. Jason said the question why now is a great one. Conspiracy answers are fantastic. Yeah, can we just get the actual answer? Like, remember that whole transparency thing? Me neither.
Not doing what he said. No, he's not doing what he said on your timeline.
No, he's not doing what he said, bud. First of all, what even is the timeline? And when does that timeline expire? The day he gets out of office? Should we just shut up and wait until then?
And so, like, you can make the point that, you're just mad about Trump's timeline. Fair enough. But then, again, I would like to understand, what is the plan? What is the timeline then?
Is the timeline when we get smoked in the midterms and then nothing can get done for the next 2 years? Is that the timeline? Then how exactly are we supposed to believe in this timeline if he already said, I'm not going to do that thing? Like the Epstein files, for example. I thought we were doing mass deportations. Oh, wait, now we need amnesty for farm workers and hotel workers? What, because they're good people? What is that? Should we wait for the timeline to play that out? Or did he already say what he's not going to do? What about the things that have already been broken? Oh, no new Middle East wars, no waste of money over there. Well, that's already done. That's been broken. What about the spending? Oh, we're going to do Doge. We're going to do cuts. We're going to return the money back to the... What about the big, beautiful bill? We're spending more money than ever, bud. What is the timeline for waiting for the money that was already spent that we weren't going to spend?
But the kids and the... Do you realize what Trump is doing right now?
Yeah, heel turning on major campaign promises and acting like we're crazy for noticing it.
Bingo!
Yup.
Our enemies, the traitors to this nation, have some very powerful friends around the world. It's a big club, folks, and you're not in it.
And of course, this never means that we regret our vote or that we think Kamala or the Democrats would have been better. It's just an objective standpoint that I was promised this, and I didn't get this. Does that mean the other people who lie about shit and don't give us shit are better? No, of course not. It's just facts. Facts are still facts.
Yeah, we know, dude. That's why we elected the outsider, or at least what we thought was the outsider, that said, I'm in that club, I know how it works, and I'm going to blow it apart.
So what does Trump have to do first? Trump has to clear the table of all the people that can cause problems when he goes after the traitors of this nation.
Oh, the traitors of this nation? Who is that exactly? Whomst is that? Is that Thomas Massey? Is he the traitor, the one he wants kicked out of the Republican Party? Or is it Lindsey Graham, the deep state warhawk neocon that he surrounds himself with? Who's the traitor? The deep state swampers that he said he was going to get rid of and destroy and throw in jail and bring to justice, that are all surrounding him all day, that are in the cabinet, that are in positions of power, that were in the files that he helped to cover up?
I know you don't see the big game because you're not following the big game. You're following the influencers.
You're an influencer. Should we not follow you for this take? What even
Yeah, this is a very 2016 type of sentence.
is an influencer anyways? An influencer is just a normal citizen that's not on TV, that's on Fox News. An influencer, generally speaking, is just an average American citizen that had enough good takes consecutively over time that people started to listen to them in the one place that they could actually get the message out.
At least in the political world, because, like, you know, if you're like a beauty influencer or something, then that's not really what we're talking about. But unless you're either grifting or you've had enough takes that people like what you say. Give me a second. Equality. We'll hit you right after this.
Without being financed or bribed by some major corporation, of course.
The Fairweather MAGA. Well, good luck with that, motherfuckers.
Sick video. You know, Fairweather is typically...
Good luck meaning what? With what? Good luck with what? What do you mean? What does that even mean?
associated with a fair weather friend. It's about loyalty in bad times, not loyalty when they do bad things to you, when they lie to you, when they say, I'm going to do this, and they don't do that. He's not our friend. He's supposed to be our representative. And we should feel proud to hold that representative to their word of what they said they were going to do.
That's specifically why I always separate that. We're not talking about Donald Trump as a friend or a person, but as a politician, as a leader, and he has been failing. Failing is a strong word, but he's definitely not been living up to his promises. Equality said, remember, the Iranians are pure evil. Evil. It's not about a person. It's about an ideal. And when Trump betrays that ideal, fuck him and fuck the sycophantic knuckle munchers that worship him. Yeah. And, when we start to see the teams, when we start to see that people are either going to look at the truth or, just go with Trump, then a third thing is going to happen where there's going to be this woke alternative truth where you twist facts to make it as though Trump isn't bad. And then you are the woke right. Shout out to Mildly Attractive. Welcome. So Trump is the greatest president there ever was and ever will be. Well, I certainly don't have a crystal ball, but yeah, I completely agree. No. I'm saying the people who are willing to, bullshit themselves and bullshit you to be able to say Trump is still good, even if he is breaking all the promises. And like, if things get worse, specifically with Iran, you're going to see a lot of people coping for Trump. And if he doesn't deserve the defense, then it makes all of us look bad. Because on the what we saw with the woke left is exactly that people don't really like the, for example, the trans stuff. But everybody felt like, oh, I got to be on the right side of history. And now, 10 years later, there's a whole community of detransitioners that destroyed their lives. So, yeah, Trump is not woke. Definitely not. I think it's not like woke doesn't just mean bad or disagree. It doesn't mean that. So you can disagree with somebody, and that doesn't make them woke. You likely are going to disagree with someone if they're woke because of the fact that they are thinking stupid things. But it's not the difference that makes you woke. It's how you got to a different perspective. All right, I think this is
no matter who it is.
Yeah.
There should be
What is it? What?
a rule that if you don't like a certain ethnic group or race, that you can't eat their food or use their inventions that they give in the world.
Oh, shut up. Oh, it's him again. All right, let's see.
No, John, there should be a rule that if you don't like a country, then you don't have the right to live in it, John. You were born in Colombia, John, but you live in America. Why don't you live in Colombia, John? Your family was a bit of Colombian royalty, yet they decided that it was better and more prosperous to live in America. John, what does that say about America? The country that you complain about all the time, John?
So, if you don't like...
There you go. Shout out to Bobby Sauce. All right. Let's dive right back in here. Okay.
underground. I don't want to see Marines underground. But
well, you don't want to see it, but they're going. They're going.
They're on their way.
But Sean, let me ask you guys a question. When you're dealing with the regime, and I'm genuinely being inquisitive right now, you're dealing with the regime that kills its own people, that beats women, throws gays off the building. They're freaking funding proxies and terrorists. I thought we don't negotiate technically with terrorists, but here's my question. We're negotiating with them and they say, okay.
It's okay to be white people woke, right? So maybe not necessarily, but being, stating the fact that it's okay to be white has nothing to do with wokeness or not. Again, it has to do with, it doesn't have to do with the position that you hold. It has to do with the mentality that you used to get to your position. So somebody who's woke right can have the right position for the wrong reasons. It's not about the positions on the right. It's about the thinking. So on the woke left, those are on the left, wokeness is the position. I think that there's 70 million genders. That is a woke statement because it is based in an orthodoxy. It's downstream from a whole bunch of other things that you cannot pluck out without the entire ideology. It's just like, wait, what do you mean? There's men and women. So on the right, again, it's not necessarily the fact that you like Trump or you don't like Trump or you want to go to war or you don't want to go to war or any of those things. It's about how did you come to the conclusion that you came to? Did you come to that conclusion because Daddy Trump said it? Did you come to that conclusion because it makes the Democrats mad? Did you come to that conclusion because you thought about all the different scenarios and realized that this was the best one?
We're not going to enrich and we're going to stop. Are we still going to leave in the Ayatollahs and these mullahs and what are we doing? Because it has to be, their government has to change.
Regime collapse.
The regime collapse. And that's again, Sean, I'm going to keep going back to it. I hope that they have, without telling us, whatever, they have to keep it secret, a shadow government, so to speak, being formed in Iran. Because like I said, Sean, how can you, do you think there are, let's say, 800,000 soldiers, Iranian soldiers, once we do a regime change, they're going to just willingly be like, okay, whoever the United States and Israel put in, we're going to, I don't see that happening. So
so why weren't we all people who are more intelligent, more well-read on foreign affairs than me? Why weren't we all saying that we shouldn't do this? Because if you just exactly what Vinny's saying right now, where was the outrage before we did it? Everybody is acting like you're un-American or you hate Trump if you didn't want to go to war. Yet here we are with the exact reasons that people didn't want to go to war coming up to fuck with us. Mindley said the only conclusion that is that we just need to be thankful that Trump saved us from a Kamala Harris presidency. Abso-fucking-lutely. Dilly to that. Dilly to that. Dial Up, welcome to the party. Said accelerationists that pretend they don't know what fatwa is are the issue. Say more on that. What exactly are you referring to? Quality over on Rumble said it's not America's place to decide who runs what countries. It's insane. Bingo. Yeah, and so simultaneously we have to understand that that's not a good thing. But also, we're in a situation where that's already how the world is set up, and so there needs to be some type of change in how all of it works. If we don't want to be American world police, it's not the kind of situation where we can just tomorrow be like, okay, well, we're done with that. We've already, I guess you can call it the sunk cost fallacy, but we're already too far down that road. How many countries would be willing to just bomb other countries because America said we ain't helping? Taiwan is fucked. Taiwan would be fucked.
Willingly be like, okay, whoever the United States and Israel put in, we're gonna. I don't see that happening. So you got to take, do we have to take all of them out? That's a crazy operation.
That was the plan, openly and explicitly. So where was the outrage before?
Because it's, again,
what about arming the people?
That's I had that conversation with one of my friends, but he goes, Vinny, you start giving those just everybody weapons. He's like, then other factions are going to start rising up.
Guys, I am fighting for my life here. We are coming up on 1 hour with 0 donations. So let's not make me decide to end the show early because I am struggling.
And people, he said it'd be a very, very,
but this is what makes, I think, Operation Epic Fury so historical. I mean, I would argue from an intelligence standpoint, military standpoint, this operation to this point, we don't know the final outcome yet, and it's going to get complicated. And I agree with what Thomas was saying. But so far, it's the greatest military operation in the history of warfare as of today. Now, how it concludes, I want to go back to what Thomas was saying and get your thoughts, and Adam, your thoughts. Because to me, one way or the other, certain conditions have to be met, or else we don't ever want to go back, right? So what does that mean? They cannot have nukes. We didn't expect that their ballistic missiles would be able to have the range that they have. As always, international inspectors suck, and they got it wrong. Okay. So, but they can't keep 60% enriched uranium that they can turn into weapons grade in 7 to 12 days. That has to be part of the deal. The Straits has to be open. That's part of the deal. Hate to tell you one other thing. I've known Donald Trump for 30 some odd years.
So saying Iran forbidden nukes. Can they not have nuclear power? They stopped at 60%. And anyway, the extremists could have lifted a mushroom from Pakistan or something. So I don't know. That is definitely the the question that we are asking when it comes to what type of threat is that. And I think what they were saying earlier is that they're not using nuclear power. So if they have that much enriched uranium, then it's very likely for a nuke. A shout out to Bubba J with a big 10 on Cash App. Thank you so very, very much. He was on my lap the whole time. That's right. Every donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so very, very much. We got Alex in the building. Said enriching uranium for nuclear weapons, not nuclear reactors. And so that's what they're saying. And that does make sense to me, that if they don't have the infrastructure to be creating nuclear power plants, and they have enriched uranium, fine. I have no issue with saying, hey, that's an issue that we need to deal with. My issue is with how we are dealing with it, how little planning there is, and how much we're just acting like it's no big deal. It's no big deal. We're just going to do this. It's like, what? It ain't like that. And as we see, remember the 12-day war? That was just the first 12 days. And like I've been telling you, ever since Venezuela, I've really seen through a lot of the stuff that Dave Smith says, but he was spot the fuck on. He was spot the fuck on with this.
There's no way in hell he's leaving there unless they're agreeing to pay us back for all the money we had to spend to liberate that country from being a nuclear threat.
Oh, you really think he's going to be that guy?
100%.
Oh, wow.
Well, remember, he got the oil from Venezuela. We took Maduro.
Yeah.
We helped them set up whatever is set up there in terms of government. And then the first so many barrels of oil, when they fully opened the pipelines, because remember, if you look at a map of Venezuela, the oil is like in a central valley, and these pipelines have to get it to the ports. And the pipelines were running at lower capacity. Why? Well, guess what? There was embargoes, and they were having to ship contraband oil. So when we got there, we said, okay, not only are the pipelines back open, and you guys, heavy crude is what comes out of the ground there, and heavy crude refineries is what's needed. Oh, and guess what? That's what's built in Houston and Galveston. So,
hey, shout out to Soil, to Soul. Welcome to the party. Said no struggle streaming allowed here. Thank you so very, very much. Yeah, there's two small ones. Take the other one. Yeah. We don't get to see Soil that often, and we always love when she is here. So thank you so very, very much. Let's party on. Dave Smith usually is right, or usually is not. You're saying equality. Donald Rumsfeld said the Iraq war would only take weeks, maybe a month, just maybe a couple weeks. My entire childhood. And here we go. We're just going down the same road again. And I can understand that people are saying, look, I know that it looks a lot like Iraq, but it's different. I don't believe you. Maybe I don't know enough to understand why they're different. but you're the president. You're supposed to be able to explain it to the dumbest person in the world. Thank you again, Soil. So the Soul said, I've been watching for a bit, but couldn't comment. Processing strawberries for the year. Garden season in full swing. There you go. Send me some. We actually have a lot of farmers markets around here. They don't call us the Garden State for nothing. Just because all you know is Newark doesn't mean we are not the Garden State. So it's got that magic. Chagrin countries for what? Chagrin? What? I don't know. We look at what they did in 47 and 48 to the locals. We look at what they did to us in 1967. People suspect they were involved in 2001. They lied in 2003. I assume 1983 was them too. And so is this justification for what we're doing, or is this more how this is different than Iraq? Or neither. Those are the two things that would really calm my nerves. Understanding why, if it is the case, that this is very different than Iraq, and the plans that we have, that makes sense. South Mississippi, dilly. There you go. I love strawberries. You got to get some. You got to try some Jersey blueberries if you never have. Dave Smith is normally right on the money. And equality said to dial up. Dial up is referring to Israel's perfidy. Perfidy? I don't know what that word means. I don't even know what that word means. The Israeli government lies to us all the time, and they spill blood for their goals. Bingo. Yep, that's what religious fervor will do. That's what they will do. No jams yet. They'll come in. All right, thank you. So very, very much. Let's dive right back in. But first, we got Full Metal Chad. Welcome to the party. You haven't been on stream in a while? I haven't been not on stream in a while. I did 15 hours yesterday, so my voice is not there. I apologize. I'm 100% against the war. Let Iranian women drive with a hijab. Not worth our blood or $200 a barrel. Dilly. So this time it's different. Same bullshit over and over. So perfidy is betrayal or disloyalty. Wow, I learned something new every day. All right, welcome. Let's party on.
Refineries is what's needed. Oh, and guess what? That's what's built in Houston and Galveston. So tell you what, the first $500 million or whatever it is of oil, we're going to take. And we're going to take that back for all the crap that you've done and to pay for this. So we got Maduro. The oil is going to flow. Your people are going to get the money, but we're also going to get paid for this.
I think as time goes on, especially if we lose the okay, well, ignore what I said about the midterms, because I was going to say, especially if we won the midterms, I don't even know this case. But anyway, I think as the presidency continues, a lot more people are going to start, saying, you know what, I don't love this, that, and that. And I think somebody's going to come along. Somebody's going to come along and give us a good way to articulate that. Obviously, we don't regret our vote. We don't want the Democrats. It's just looking at Trump in a vacuum. It's not as great as we thought it would be. That has to be a little clearer. And that's how people work. When you have the rhetoric to tell people, I'm still on the team, I just don't like this thing, then it's a lot easier for people to express that, because otherwise it sounds like you're just like Trump bad. It's like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Go after the fraud. For coin. Yep. All remember Doge. Remember Doge? How much we thought that would do. Oh man.
To pay for this. So we got Maduro. The oil is going to flow. Your people are going to get the money, but we're also going to get paid for this. I look at that deal in Venezuela and I'm like, this is brilliant. Also, I can't say who and I can't say what, but Pat and I were in Washington. We were at the Department of War, And we sat with an analyst. This wasn't Hegseth, but we sat with an analyst that said that our risk report was estimated that we would lose 10. The risk report was that it would be 10 servicemen lost in the assault to take Maduro. It was 0.
Oh, okay. I thought he was saying the 10 in Iran. Sorry. Oh, sorry, Lone. Well, welcome to the party. So to be fair, there's a single person on Earth who is on video with a more consistent stance on Iran than Trump. Fair, totally fair. That doesn't better than everybody else doesn't mean good. It can, but if we're if we're all trying to run a mile, you got to sprint a mile and you can't stop. Just because I go half a mile and you go quarter of a mile before we both drop dead, neither of us did well. I just didn't. Like, what did I say? Whoever got to the half mile just did better. So definitely better than other people. But does that make it good?
Oh, and we had that one critically injured pilot, God bless him, who stood there at the State of the Union address and was recognized for his bravery, standing there, with canes holding himself up because he hasn't fully recovered. And we lost 0, and we've lost 13 here. So I like what I'm seeing. I don't like loss of life, and there are 13 families that are mourning the loss of servicemen that served bravely and honorably. But I look at Venezuela, and I believe Sean's right. There's going to be a deal back there that also comes back to pay for this stuff.
I'm asking you to look into a crystal ball. Will they negotiate that deal, or will they resist again? They had time. They had an opportunity for peace before Midnight Hammer. They had an opportunity for peace before Epic Fury. They chose to pass. Now, we're now at the 4th or 5th tier layer of leadership. We don't even know who the hell's in charge. Although they did give Trump the big present, which is they let those 8 tankers through, which I think was a sign that we do have power. Mm-hmm. So will they agree to give up the 60% enriched uranium?
Yeah, I agree. So the other day we were talking, before we get back to what he was saying, the other day we were watching a Timcast clip where they were talking about how they think the uniparty establishment is going to try to shift the Overton window back to what he was saying, more like under Obama, not under Obama, but like when Obama and McCain were running. So, like, you guys have definitely seen that clip where John McCain is on, like, Oprah or whatever show, and some lady's like, "Oh, Obama, he's a dirty Muslim," and John McCain's like, "Hey, whoa, nah, he's a good man, and we just have slightly different opinions." Fast forward to Trump, and, I mean, yikes. And I will never go back on the fact that we needed that outsider shakeup. But now I'm starting to understand that the purpose of that has been completed. Everything has been effectively shooken. Effectively shooketh. But what do we do next? How do we take the gains of this, I want to say free-for-all. Not really a free-for-all. But how do we take advantage of the last 10 years and then move forward? The goal should always be not to ramp things up, but to calm things down. The reason we love the 90s so much is because, and even in the early 2000s, is because it wasn't, there was other things to do and to think about than just politics. Insane. Incidentally, I always thought I was going to get blown up on the helicopter going to the mission. Every time. God damn. Yeah. You got more balls than me. Said open borders hurt everyone. Dems are mad. Trump is focusing on fixing illegal flood. Same flood Dems promised to fix. It's so funny. I was, again, on TikTok, I try not to be too political just because I talk about, movies and TV over there. But, sometimes there's just something that I can't keep quiet about. And so people were, saying things like, they're putting ice in the there it is. I was just scrolling looking for it. Thank you, Nightbot. Oh my god, sorry, what was I just saying? Oh, somebody's complaining about ice being in airports, replacing TSA. And they're like, are we sure that ice can perform ice duties or TSA duties? What? Like, who do you think has more training in general? The average TSA agent or an ICE agent? And so I just made that, I made that video, and then somebody commented, well, then why don't they go down by the border and close that up? And so I just did a video reply, which again is an awesome fucking tool that YouTube should pick up. Because now I got a video that's going directly to the person that commented, and also it's just out there for everybody else. And I was like, yeah, we already did that. Net zero illegal immigration over the border. So you should be happy. Nope, never happy. Never happy. So the souls of the 90s were the best decade. I promise I'm not biased in any way. This is objective fact. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Objective fact. Has nothing to do with the fact that we were children. Has nothing to do with the fact that we had no responsibilities. It's just better. Just better. Hey, we got Manatron. Welcome. Said, also, why would the assumption from people that TSA wouldn't be working with ICE? Because they're stupid. They're stupid. We came, we saw, we shooketh. All right, and thank you. Quality, let's get back in here.
Although they did give Trump the big present, which is they let those 8 tankers through, which I think was a sign that we do have power. Mm-hmm. So will they agree to give up the 60% enriched uranium? Adam, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Look.
Oh, Jesus. Did anybody not see the interaction between him and Dave Smith? Because that is a worthy side quest.
We were asking the nuclear question, right? So I'm going to try to weave. It's called the weave. So I'm in a serious relationship these days. Shout out to my girl.
Okay, let's change topics.
There we go. And you know what happens when you're in a relationship? I saw your lovely significant other. You start watching a lot of movies and TV. You stop going out.
Romantic comedies.
You're doing the comedies, rom-coms.
It gets bad when you have to watch The Real Housewives.
The one thing I think that we overestimate is how much the people that we looked up to, like a George Carlin in this way, I don't know. I kind of feel like George Carlin would be woke. Like woke left. I don't know. But it seems like once you get to a certain age, then not like a number, but you get a certain place in your life where it's like, I know this is what it is. And for somebody like him, because the Republicans were always the bad party and the Democrats were the cool ones, I have a hard time seeing that, and maybe not George Carlin himself, but a lot of people, like in the atheist community, we always talk about Christopher Hitchens, who was, again, amazing. But I kind of feel like he would be more on the woke left side if he was still here. But either way, RIP and respect to both of them. Shout out to equality and deference because vagina with the Rumble rant. Thank you. So very, very much. A parting gift. Thank you for hanging out. You have a good one. It said Carlin would have had an entire comedy special ripping through the woke. I hope. But we gotta. There's something to be said for being stuck in your ways. That's why the boomer meme, the okay boomer meme, has perpetuated, because it does get to that place where it's not about taking in new information anymore. It's about establishing, oh, I know this, and that's all that matters. I think so too. Yep. All right.
I won't do it. Refuse to do it. Unless it's the Real Households.
Okay, you're giving advice on this topic.
Yes, here we go.
This is really happening.
So a movie that we recently watched, because we like comedies, we like Sacha Baron Cohen, we like Borat, we like this, was The Dictator.
Very nice.
Have you seen this movie, The Dictator?
Haven't seen it, no.
Oh my God, Sacha Baron Cohen plays a Middle Eastern dictator who's enriching nuclear weapons, and his famous line, he goes, "We are having nuclear capabilities for peaceful purposes." For peaceful purposes. He can't get it out because it's such a joke. You're not enriching nuclear capabilities to 60%, which is almost weaponry, for peaceful purposes.
Let me add one thing. That interview with Witkoff, and this is what...
No, but Ricky Gervais is significantly younger than Carlin was. And so, I hope that we would see. They just put the Ricky Gervais show on Netflix, and I used to watch that as it as it aired. That was like my Monday morning happy place. That was back in the DVR days. And so yeah, obviously Ricky Gervais is based as fuck. But the I think that little difference of time where you're not yet stuck in who you are. And again, I don't know. I could be wrong. But it's something to keep in mind. Because back then it was Democrats good, Republicans awful. And it's like, okay, yeah, they're both bad, but if you were cool, if you knew it was good, if you were red-pilled, which is not the thing yet, then you would be a Democrat.
Which is almost weaponry for peaceful purposes.
Culturally speaking.
Let me add one thing. That interview with Witkoff, and this is where I think, for me, it was the defining moment. When I did that interview, I knew it was game over. The decision had been made.
Yeah.
But he also added, the U.S. offered Iran low-enriched uranium for civilian purposes for free in perpetuity. He said that in that interview.
For peaceful purpose. And then what they said.
They said no.
And then Rob, do you have that chart that I sent you last week? And it's a very rudimentary chart of basically how nuclear weapons work. None of us knew this, I guess. But 3 to 5% out of 100% is for energy or for peaceful purposes. 20% research. In the history of the world, nobody's gone to 60% without getting to a weapon. So like now we're just going to trust a theocratic, thug-like, jihadi regime to be like, peaceful purposes. Listen, as much as I like watching movies.
What is this guy's name? Adam, what's his last name? Adam Sosnick.
The world isn't a Disney movie. Like, things are going to get real ugly unless you have someone step up and say, no. You know, I spoke with another, two buddies of mine, Navy SEALs. One is a U.S. Navy SEAL. Shout out to my boy Kaj. And his partner, his friend and a business partner, is a Israeli Navy SEAL. And they start talking about terrorism and deterrence of terrorists. And the Israeli guy with the thick accent, he's like, you have to have a deterrence for the terrorists. Deterrence for the terrorists. And then it got so convoluted.
Bro, you're so fucking boring. So while he's talking, then we're going to take a side quest to, what was this, 4 days ago? And it was 1v1 with Peters right there. And we're not going to play the whole thing, but we're going to play some of it.
Trump is the all-B MAGA guy. I'm the guy that was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this Trump guy. You know what? Oh, I got the fake news. Oh, Russia. Oh, it turns out, yeah, you know, he's way better than the other side. So I had to use logic and a measured approach to get me to the point where I'm like, he's the guy. So I'll ask you another question. Let's say Trump wasn't here. What's Kamala doing?
Oh, no,
so everything in politics is binary.
I think
they're politicians. That's what they do. They lie.
Kamala Harris would have been a terrible president. I thought Joe Biden was a terrible president. And I've always said with Trump, I think I find myself agreeing with some of the things he does and disagreeing with others, which I think is the right way to deal with Trump. I think if you just judge him on what comes out of his mouth.
Well, that's just like with anything. You're not going to agree with everybody and disagree with that.
Right.
Yeah,
so, and look, when I came on the PBD,
let's bring him.
I don't know. I think the kill and put things.
This very there was also code
shows that mean that 8 billion.
Right,
correct, and that's pretty uniform for at this point.
Turned up to watch Dave's show, then technically over 8 billion chose not to.
Correct, and that's pretty uniform for at this point.
This is really making me feel bad about my numbers on the road.
It doesn't necessarily mean that 8 billion people.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there are 8
They're trying to say like how many people watch, and they're like, "There's 8 million people that don't go to your comedy shows."
Billion people who don't like Dave Smith.
I used to own a couple. No, it's fine. I mean, I actually do like Dave Smith. Let me tell you a Dave Smith story. I actually have respect for Dave Smith, but I realized who Dave Smith is, and I would say this to his face or on camera. Dave Smith is a radical libertarian. Don't take my word for it. You've said this multiple times. Have you not, Dave Smith?
Said what? That I'm a radical libertarian? Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yes. Okay, perfect. So when you're something, when you're radical, what's another word
for? What I believe in is true Americanism.
Extremist. Okay,
Yeah,
this is why you call
relative
America.
Terms.
This is why you call. Sure, this is why you call the U.S. military the greatest terrorist organization on earth, right? Because you're a true American, because you're a true patriot. Is that why, Dave? Because something tells me you have what is
under his world. Yes, like if that's what you believe, then you absolutely should be calling that out to the government.
known as clickbait.
Are you more of an American because you saw something that you didn't like from the government and you kept your fucking mouth shut like a little bitch?
To the mouth, and you're using these instances, these wars, to garner attention for you. You have the American flag behind you, yet you have the hypocrisy of saying the United States United States is the greatest terror organization the world has ever seen. I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. This is why you're radical.
I didn't say.
By the way,
doesn't matter. We'll get there.
So, I tell you what. Hang on. Just to be fair to Dave, let's replay what he actually said on this show, which caused all the furore, led by Ben Shapiro. We'll play what he said, and I'll play what Shapiro said about it, and then we'll come back to Dave for a response.
Shout out to M. Hussein for whatever reason. Said hi is blocked on all of the StreamYard, so that's why you don't see that coming up here. But welcome to the party. We got Dab in the building. So why should we care about foreign countries? Only in the context that it matters to America. So we should care about Iran as far as they're not going to hurt Americans. We should care about Israel as far as upholding whatever deals that we had, which should, we should be able to roll back. But I'm not an isolationist, but America first. Welcome to the party.
The IDF is the worst terrorist organization in the region. Let's get real. The United States of America is arguably the worst terrorist organization in the world. If you want to look over the last 25 years, how many innocent civilians we've slaughtered.
It doesn't matter, it turns out, how many times you appear on Joe Rogan's show, or how many times you hide behind your title of comedian who holds the Guinness Book of World Records for fewest jokes told, or how many times you spew puerile analogies that demonstrate nothing but...
I remember when we were watching this clip when it originally, they were originally covering it. And I was like, what? Why would he be telling jokes on his political podcast? Do you think that comedians don't know how to talk except for their jokes?
Unbelievable, willful ignorance of the nature of war. I'm sorry, but you hate the country if you say America is the worst terrorist organization in the world. You just do. Now, I know that Dave Smith is super duper excited that his name was mentioned here. And he's sitting there shouting at his TV screen in his basement, "Debate me, bro!" To which I answer, nah. I don't debate with trolls who claim that America is the biggest terrorist state in the world, because that is idiotic.
Loser! So, Dave, as you know, that all blew up. A lot of debate raged about it. Just, clarify what you meant. Do you regret phrasing it the way you did?
Poo-poo.
Just give us a bit more meat on the bone.
No, I don't regret phrasing it the way I did, and I'll be very clear about what I'm saying. I will point out that it's quite something for Ben Shapiro. Just since you played him, I got to respond to him first. That he goes, "Oh, I just won't debate with this guy because this is so beyond the pale." Ben Shapiro made his name debating 19-year-old communist Maoists who were confused about their gender. So
got him.
Now, Piers, we're going to have to believe here that I'm so much less serious than the children who Ben Shapiro made a career debating. I loved your response to him where you pointed out some of the goofy segments that he does on his show. I mean, personally, I really stay away from that stuff. And, for Adam, I think to say it's clickbait or that I just...
Yeah, Dalip, I was... so I'm again kind of shifting, but I used to be somebody who put Timcast as my true north, meaning not, I believe everything that he says, but that I use his as a starting point and then, see what other people are saying around that. And then he started becoming, a bit of a doomer, and he was playing up the Christianity thing more than I thought he believed in, and whatever. So, and then I'd always been watching Dave Smith, but he was starting to talk in way, especially, leading up to the election. He was, once he was pro-Trump, like we were, completely aligned. And so, I got a lot of understanding of that mindset, the libertarian mindset. And it's only just very recently, like as of Venezuela, that I'm starting to see that, the libertarians have this kind of thing where you kind of just retreat to, well, everybody's bad. Like, okay, so what would you like to do here? Well, everything that was done is bad, and everything that is being proposed that's going to be done is bad. Okay, and so what do you think we should do? Just nothing, ever. Unless a country is stepping foot on American soil to come and kill us, then the military should never be used. What? And if you have that position, it's very easy. It's very easy to just always be right. Because, governments suck. Politicians suck. That's not based. That's just the starting point. We're all accepting that and then having the conversation. Now, I watched Timmy Fool in 2020 quit after he kept firing co-hosts that had better takes than him. Oof! Got him! Good one. Yeah, I mean, I still, I'll watch some of his stuff, but you just, another guy.
I really stay away from that stuff. And, for Adam, I think to say it's clickbait or that I just want to get out in front of the camera, I think.
Yeah, remember, guys, if you are on the vertical stream and you're enjoying it, have a great time. But the link to the landscape stream will always be in the description. And in my opinion, it looks a little bit better over here. But whatever floats your boat.
We're all equally in front of a camera right now, and it's kind of weird to accuse someone else. I very much believe the things I'm saying.
Dave,
now, to Adam's point,
Dave, don't run from the comment. Don't run from your comment.
I'm trying to
address
get to
the
it,
comment, not Ben Shapiro, would you? Good.
Yes,
let's go. Wrap it up.
No, I'm going to make the points I want to make.
You called the United States military.
You're just slowing. Okay, so
you called the United States military the greatest terror organization in the world.
Adam,
defend.
So this is okay. When he says defend it, then that's fair because which he can't do. But if Adam was saying there, well, you said America is the terrorist organization, so that means all of your other opinions are X, Y, and Z. That would be wokeness. He's specifically saying, okay, defend that claim. Fair enough. I'm sure Adam will do some woke right shit as we see. But again, just trying to give you the dividing line as I see.
You called the United States military the greatest terror organization in the world.
Adam,
defend.
Just let me answer. No problem. I'm going to go back to the order I was going to go in. To Adam's point, when Adam says I'm a radical libertarian and I say that this is true Americanism, I mean, look, my favorite founding father is Thomas Paine. Not everyone considers him a founding father. And maybe I love him so much because he never held a government position and didn't own slaves, which I thought was pretty cool. But Benjamin Franklin said he was the most consequentialist and the one person most responsible for the United States of America existing. His famous pamphlet that he wrote was called Common Sense. And I think on the first or second line of it.
Here to resurrect the second coming. I'm mirrored. Have a common sense.
His famous pamphlet that he wrote was called Common Sense. And I think on the...
Yeah, right. I don't know how the fuck y'all do that. I mean, and I am a TikTok doom scroller, so it's not like I'm not used to vertical content, but I don't know. If I'm watching... I guess... Oh, yeah. So, like, if I'm on my phone, which I rarely am, if I'm watching a live stream, which I rarely am, then I like it on the landscape, but I don't have it full screen. And so I know they started this thing where, like, if you full screen, then it's like full screen, but the chat is there. But that would be so weird because then, then you're using your phone like that when you're used to using your phone like that. And so I like the landscape to just be up, up at the top and then have the chat there. My personal preference, but again, whatever you guys like. Oh, so the soul, have you seen the tattoo reveal? We have the Indian Jesus presents the Hindu Trump. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. He's got his red hat, starting to peel a little bit. All his arms, and that red tie. That is for you guys. All right, let's dive back in.
States of America existing. His famous pamphlet that he wrote was called Common Sense. And I think on the first or second line of it, he says, government is at best a necessary evil. So at best, he's like, this is clearly on the anarchist to night watchman state spectrum.
Founding father
was what true Americanism was when it started. Now, for me to say what I made the point, and I've made this point a million times on your show, Piers, I'm saying when people come on and say Iran is the biggest state sponsor of terrorism, well, just like give me an objective definition of what terrorism means, and then let's apply that standard universally. And if you're going to sit here and say, look, America has given billions, tens of billions of dollars to the IDF in the last few years. We've also, by the way, given a lot of weapons and money. Your first guest on this show there, the head of the Obama deep state, was using...
Damn right. Dedicated to you, dedicated to the message, and dedicated to the community, guys. I forgot to pin the link. Does somebody have the Discord link? It is free to join, guys. It's absolutely free for everyone. So you should definitely come through because it's more than me just trying to sit around here and say stuff that'll make you give me money. That is what we're doing here right now. But I'm trying to build something better. I'm trying to build a coalition of people who may not all agree on the same thing, but are able to communicate what they do think and communicate with other people who maybe don't agree with them, so that things can actually move forward instead of politics, just two sides spinning their wheels over and over and over and over again. So if mods, can we get a link, please? So it's absolutely free to join. If you are a member of the YouTube channel, not only do you get the free chat, but we've got some other channels too, and the after party. I'm not feeling so great tonight, so I'm not going to promise an after party, but I'm going to try. But after every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday stream, assuming I'm not sick, then once we're done here, we head over there. And we don't got to worry about any TOS or anything like that. You are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else, whether or not you want to cam up. It is a good time. 1 in a billion. I hope so. If somebody else has this, I'm going to be mad. If somebody else has it, that'd be crazy. Grumpy said American Democrats are terrorists. They gave over $1 trillion to fund world terrorism. Yeah. But also, I don't want it to seem like the fucking the Republican Party has no role in that. You know. Hey, we got Chronic. Welcome. 6 a.m. Why? I don't fucking know. I went live at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening. 6 a.m.
What? Stupid.
I don't know why. Anyway, let's dive back in here.
Your first guest on this show there, the head of the Obama deep state, was using Al-Qaeda, bin Ladenite head choppers on the ground in Libya and in Syria. And yes, Adam, I would also consider it when our politicians lie us into wars that slaughter millions of innocent people and in many cases target those innocent people. I consider that terrorism as well. There's the answer, Adam. And if you want to keep doing this, buddy, you could tell me to check the scoreboard. I'll run circles around you on this, dude. Check the scoreboard. Most unpopular war in American history going in. Check the scoreboard. 13 dead Americans and 150 plus other wounded. Thousands of innocents, including little schoolgirls in Iran, killed. Dead innocent Israelis. Hundreds of dead innocent people in Lebanon. Millions of innocent people being displaced, all at the cost of tens of billions of dollars and destroying Trump's coalition. Check your scoreboard, Adam.
God damn.
How's it looking for you?
Okay, Dave. Okay, it's not working well for you, Dave. Because
substantively
you're
respond.
I think it is working well for Dave.
The United States. You're saying the United States is a terrorist organization. You've already lost the debate. You live in America, tough guy.
See, this is the maybe not the wokeness, but the same thing that I pointed out as to why Piers did a bad job with Nick Fuentes and with Clavicular. Because you're trying to establish, well, you said this thing, therefore you're automatically bad. Like, that's not an argument. That's what the wokies do. Yeah. That was an interesting operation, to say the least.
You have the luxury of sitting in your little studio with your hooded sweater, like you're 17 years old. The regime. You mean all American presidents?
I'm 17
Who's your
years
favorite
old.
Wait, are hoodies for children?
What? In the last 50 years.
Adam, I'm 17 years old. I have a wife and children. Who depends on you, Adam? Your mom?
Oh,
okay,
shit! Shit! One more time. One more again. Give it to him.
Adam, I'm 17 years old. I have a wife and children. Who depends on you, Adam? Your mom?
Okay, I also have.
If you want to make it personal,
so you want to go personal?
You have a significant other.
We can go as personal as we can go.
No, I'm trying not to.
We can go as personal as you want.
Respond to one thing.
I don't care, Dave.
Adam, some substance.
I don't care.
I know, because you don't know anything.
Dave, you're a radical.
So move on. So stop picking a fight with me, dude. You don't know anything about anything. You're Pat's guy.
I know.
I like you, dude. I like you. I like your show. I respect Pat.
Dave. Okay. Zip it. Here we go. I'll talk now for a second. I'm defending the military.
That's, pun intended, debatable. I think it comes down to what your personal opinions are, but I don't think that was a lose situation. It's just whether or not you actually agree.
Right now, you're basically saying that all our boys that go to the military are all terrorists. That's what you're saying.
No.
You're equating that the United States of America, the IDF, are the equivalent of ISIS and Al Qaeda. By the way, I also used to respect you until you went on a little podcast called Coleman Hughes. What happened on that podcast, Dave? This is the problem. I'll tell you a quick story. Why don't you do it right now, Adam?
Why don't you do it?
I'll do it right now, Dave. I'll do it right now. Because here's what Dave is. Here's Dave Smith.
I'm going to call him more names. By
the way, 1% of Americans vote for libertarians every year. So you're trying to basically say that you know.
That is a whataboutism. You say, well, libertarians only get 1% of the vote, therefore you're automatically wrong. That's the appeal to populist fallacy.
1% of Americans vote for libertarians every year. So you're trying to basically say that you know more than the average American. 1% of Americans vote for your people, Dave. Why don't you run for something? Why don't you stand for something? You stand for nothing.
Okay, can I respond?
Yeah, and the that definitely is the case. But I think the reason that it's not like, oh, he got destroyed, because it's like that he the other day, what the fuck were we just doing? The Charlie Kirk stuff. I was saying that guy invited Andrew Wilson on, and so he very much understood what kind of person and what kind of interaction he was going to get from at least what he says. Dave was like, just, he tripped up because he wasn't sure. Like, I thought we were, just having a conversation, and now you're talking about the basis of my morality with this. And so, I mean, fair enough, but that's halfway to a sucker punch. I'll put it that way.
For something. Why don't you stand for something? You stand for nothing.
Okay, can I respond? Again, Pierce, this is the level of substance.
No. Here we go. I'm going to tell you a story, Dave, and then you can respond. Because this is where I lost respect for you as a debater. Because I was like, oh, this guy, Dave, he actually knows some stuff. He's doing his thing. And then you showed up on Coleman Hughes' podcast. Pierce, do you know who Coleman Hughes is?
I do. He's been on the show.
I've been on the show with him.
Perfect. That's this guy right here, just in case.
The props. Oh, the props. Brother. That never helps the way they think that it does. Remember when that one guy was debating Rob Noor on Speakeasy's channel, and I think it was the Rachel Tomato, and we covered it. And he had those signs that was like, straw man. It's just like, dude, you're gay.
The camera doesn't see.
But what is the point you're making?
I watched this podcast. The point is this: Dave gets out there and he tries to bully people and say that he's so smart. He reads a lot of books. Good for you, Dave. But what happens?
Yeah, books are gay, bro. Just listen to the. What? What even was that?
When you run into somebody who's way smarter and bullies the bully. I remember growing up in this town of Miami. So
you just said you were going to do that. You just posited yourself as the bully that he ran into. So bully him within the context of the conversation. You're just talking shit. You're just yapping.
Was this kid that used to pick on all the kids that we went to school with. And one day, some new kid showed up, and he goes, oh, yeah, let's go, buddy. Let's do this. And the bully goes, oh, what do you mean? What do you want to do? And he goes, no, yeah, you want to fight everybody? You want to take everybody's lunch? Let's go. And the new kid beat the crap out of the bully. And here's what happened with Dave.
And everyone stood up and applauded. Oh, come on. Everyone stood up and applauded. Things that never happen for 500, Alan.